Hey everyone, and welcome to part 9 of the Ultimate Guide to Dark Souls 2. So today is a little bit different from the other videos because it isn't a specific area, but this one video is really quite important to the whole guide run essentially, and this is where we're finally going to show you our little trick to one, completing all the NPC quests, which again obviously you don't need to do, but this is just us doing it in the guide, and in terms of completeness. So what I've done right now is head back to Things Betwixt, and I think by now you've probably caught on to what it is we're doing, and we're going to use a soul vessel to pretty much respec our character. Now, using this soul vessel, we're going to use one soul vessel to change into stats that will allow us to complete all the NPC quests at this specific point, and then we're going to use a soul vessel to respec into our new character specs. So really, at this stage, it doesn't particularly matter what it is that you would respec into, so long as you've got 30 int and 30 faith, because the NPC quests that we're going to be doing require you to have a certain amount in both of these stats before they'll allow you to talk to them. Not only that, your stats have to be actually like hard stats, they can't come from stat buffs from equipment, so that applies to all of them. So now that we've got our stats like that, the first one we're going to go and do is Carhillion of the Fold. Now, he is that guy that was in No Man's Wharf that we've been to previously. So he's the first one we're going to do, and to speak to him you need to have 8 faith to speak to him initially, but he won't give you his quest item unless you have much higher faith than that. So this applies for pretty much all the NPCs as well. So obviously, because our stats are a bit fucked up just now, it doesn't particularly matter what it is that we're wearing or whatever, because we're just going to be running past most enemies as well. You should probably have enough stats to use the fire longsword though, that way you've got a weapon to actually get through these areas. But obviously, getting through No Man's Wharf really shouldn't be an issue at this stage in the game, like at all whatsoever. It really should pose no threat. Just run past the enemies, or in fact, just kill them, whatever, because we'll end up using whatever souls we've got left at the end of all this to, just level up. Well, we're going to respec back to a new set of stats, and then we're going to level up again from there. So we're at this part with the Faris Lockstone in No Man's Wharf. Now, you don't have to do this, but we recommend that kill the enemies in this specific building, because what will end up happening is they all have bows and stuff, so they can shoot you from where Carhillion is. They can see you from there, so if you want to actually talk to them or whatever, you end up getting peppered by their bow fire, and it can be a real pain in the arse to deal with, because you need to stop talking to him and heal or whatever, in case you just look over his menu. So that's going to stop you doing that, and it really is fucking annoying. Hence why, before we just ran past these guys and we're just like, fuck it, it doesn't matter. But after getting shot off them all the time when we're trying to do his quest, we're just like, look, we'll just put it in the guide, remember to come up here and kill these guys if you want to have a slightly easier time dealing with them. Now, we're not going to go over any of the item drops, however, like we would normally do, reiterate what things drop in each video, but because this is not really any specific area, we're just going through the motions essentially. Now, if you're covered in oil, remember to not let that happen and explode, but otherwise just generally carry on, move past the Darkstalkers and go across the pier, and eventually you'll get to Carhillion. So we've got 30 faith, so basically, as you'll see, all you need to do is just talk to him, and he will give you the Northern Ritual Band +1. Now, if you kill him, it will also drop the Northern Ritual Band +1, and as soon as you make it to Shrine of Winter, he will then sell unlimited of the things, unlimited spells that he sells. Now, you want to exhaust his dialogue as well, and remember that he can also reinforce your Pyromancy Flame. Now, he's the one that sells the Sorcerer's Catalyst, the Clear Bluestone Ring, Twilight Herbs, Simpleton Spice. These things are all relatively helpful, and he sells a whole bunch of different spells. So he really is a useful vendor if you decide to go for sorcery. Now, we want to exhaust his dialogue as well, because that means that he'll then move to Majula, which again is going to make him more useful, and it also helps with someone else's quest line as well, which you'll see when we get to it. Anyway, moving swiftly on, we are now going to be going off to speak to Straid. Now, Straid is one of these vendors, I guess, in the game that will exchange boss souls for weapons. Now, we've mentioned him previously in the guide, so in case you're wondering who or what he might be, this is the guy you want to talk to. Now, at this point in the game is the first chance you really get to actually talk to Straid, because now it's after Harvest Valley. You know, we thought we'd do Earthen Peak first, just get that out of the way, and then, you know, we're going to respec for Iron Keep, so we might as well do it just now. So now we've got our Fragrant Branches Are Yours from Harvest Valley, we can then, you know, unfree Straid, and we can finally show what it is he actually does. Now, Straid is a really cool NPC. Again, he gives you a bunch of, you know, boss weapons and stuff, but he also sells a bunch of really useful things. Now, with Straid, he is a Malentiable NPC, hence if you kill him, he'll drop his hood, and the rest of his equipment will be sold by Malencia and Majula. Now, we're going to buy 4 boss weapons off him, any 4, just the now, because if you buy 4 boss weapons off him, he will then give you his equipment set, and that's how you do his quest. Now, he doesn't move, and remember, he also has a gesture, so, you know, get that off him, but this is where he'll be permanently. He also sells a bunch of really, you know, useful things, such as Linden Dragon Crest Ring, the Ring of Knowledge, a bunch of different spells, miracles, pyromancies, and hexes. Now, after you've completed the Undead Crypt, he'll also sell Great Lightning Spears and Sunlight Blade as well, so that's one place where you can get those things from. And that's pretty much it for Straid, really. You know, he sells, or will trade, boss souls for lots of different bosses. But right now, we're not going to go into all the different ones that he trades. Basically, if you just get a boss soul, just go and check with him, really. And now we're going to talk to Solden. Now, because we've got as many, I can't remember how many NPCs it is, but the amount of NPCs that we've got that have came back to Majula, at this point we can now talk to him, and he'll give us a soul vessel, which is obviously an item that we'd really want, because soul vessels are great. So now we're off to do Felkin, but on the way to Felkin we are going to stop by Licia. Now, Licia is another NPC that requires you, she's kind of like Carhillion, really. Now, you talk to her, and if you've got 30 faith, she will give you like all that shit, so the Idol's Chime and the Saint set. Now, Licia is also a Malentiable NPC. If you kill her, she will drop the Chime and the Rotunda Lockstone, and then her equipment set will be available to buy from Malencia. And as soon as, and like Carhillion, as soon as you go to the Shrine of Winter, she'll then sell like infinite of all the stuff that she sells. You need 20 faith and 20 int to complete his quest. Otherwise, you need 8 in both, and then he'll just generally talk to you once you've got 8 in both. But you've got to do his quest at 2020. But yeah, he's useful. He sells a lot of really good hexes actually, and he sells Archdrake Staff, Archdrake Chime, you know, Ring of Life Protection, Dark Pine Resin, and he also sells, you know, all these things. But we're going to buy Dark Weapon, and you'll see why, you know, at the end of the video. He will also drop the Sunset Staff when killed, but obviously, as you saw there, if you have 2020 and you talk to him in Exhausted Dialogue, he'll give you the Sunset Staff and his equipment. He's a Malencia NPC as well, so you kill him, he drops Sunset Staff, and the Hexel set will be available to buy off Malencia. And that's pretty much it for Felkin, actually. You know, there's not that much to him, but he is a very good vendor, and we want the Sunset Staff off him as well, because we're going to be using that Sunset Staff for a quest even further on in the game. So, you know, it all comes back to each other, and we want to do all the quests in a single run, and this is pretty much the best way to do it, because we don't want to make a build based around getting these stats, because it just wouldn't be viable, especially early game, which is why soul vessels are just so useful. So we're going to respec into these stats specifically. Sorry, just out of breath talking so much, but yeah, these stats specifically. Now, it might be less health and endurance than what we started off with, you know, with the sword build. Now, admittedly, that is a thing, but it isn't that little, and these stats allow us to use the halberd and the greatsword, two weapons that will be invaluable for the rest of the run, because obviously the fire longsword isn't particularly valuable at this stage in the game because we're going into Iron Keep. Now, we don't have footage of this, but if you want, because you got a token of fidelity in Huntsman's Copse, you can go to Targrey in the Blue Cathedral, talk to him. Because you got a token of fidelity, you can join the Covenant, then you talk to him and you buy a bolt stone off him, then you can go to Macduff and make the fire longsword a lightning longsword. If you want, it will do considerably more damage to the enemies in that area if you would rather go for that build. Now, what we want to do is upgrade the halberd as much as we possibly can, and then with whatever we've got left, try and upgrade the greatsword as well, because we'll need that not as soon as we need the halberd, but sooner than we need, you know what I mean, like, we need the halberd for the Iron Keep, and then we're going to use the greatsword after that. So now we've got some souls left over, we are going to use this to level up, which I guess closes the gap in our health and endurance from what it was, so you know it's not that big a deal. And by this point you should be, you know, good enough at the game, with enough experience at this point where the lower amount of health and endurance isn't an issue. And also the Drangleic armour, you know, it makes you pretty tanky. You don't take that much damage from the enemies in the Iron Keep. You know, you're way over leveled in terms of health, so it's not really that much of an issue. But we're still not done here, and there's one other thing that we're going to do, which is going to make the Iron Keep that much easier. So I think this is us upgrading the greatsword. Yep. So you know, you want to do that because you don't just upgrade the greatsword as much as you can. And we're going to upgrade our armour as well. Yeah, we're going to upgrade the Drangleic mail. Sorry, this is all post commentary, so you know. And obviously it's just me doing this now because Stephen was like, I'm tired, and then I'm like, well, I've not done the guide in a while, so you know, I'll do the guide this one episode myself since it's a small one, and you know, get something up for you guys to actually see and continue on, and we'll have the next video up as soon as we can. So this is our stats just now. It cuts to another clip, obviously, so we are going to equip Dark Weapon, but we can't use it just yet, but we will be able to use it in the Iron Keep video. But to make Dark Weapon better, we are going to go and improve our weapon. Now, with the souls that we've got left over, I should probably mention, make sure you have enough souls to do this when you level up with what you've got left over. But yeah, we're going to talk to Sweet Charquois, and we're going to buy the Silver Cat Ring, which allows us to go into the pit. Now, we're only going to go into the pit briefly, but this is the earliest point in the game, aside from Targrey, admittedly, you can get an elemental weapon. Now, we still need to go into the Iron Keep to actually do this, but we're going to do this just now, so there's no backtracking, essentially. Now, we're not picking up the items here either, because we'll pick the items up in that actual part, like the proper part of the game. This is just more like, this is kind of like a middle part, really, for the guide, because the guide is split into area, and this isn't really a particular area, this is just like a part getting prepared for the rest of the guide, you see. So, right, remember this drop is such a pain in the arse, as you'll see, because it doesn't drop off as soon as you fall off the side. Like the box, the collision box seems to go off. I mean, as you can see, I'm literally floating right now, so you know, be careful here and drop off. Silver Cat Ring means you don't die. Now, this crystal lizard that we're coming up to drops a dark stone. Now this means that we can kill that, get dark stone, and as soon as we get the dull ember, which is the first thing we do in the Iron Keep, it means we can get a dark halberd. Now, not only that, because we've got dark weapon, it means that we can buff the dark halberd, and it gains an insane amount of damage. It is like the most, I mean, obviously you could do it with any other weapon, but it is the most amount of damage that you can get at this point in the game, because you can't get Sunlight Blade at this point in the game. You can't get Flame Weapon. You definitely can't get Crystal Magic Weapon. So this is the most damage you're going to be able to do. So now we've got that dark stone, in the next video you'll see us use it, but that is the end of this video. Get prepared. So the next video is the Iron Keep, and it's a long video, and it's a very, very in-depth, informative video, because the Iron Keep is one of the harder areas in the game, and I just hope you enjoyed this part. This, I mean, short but sweet, I guess. Hope it was informative, and I hope it makes everybody go, ah, I get it now. So, you know, that's the main purpose of it, and, you know, covered all the NPC quests and stuff, and everything that they do. There wasn't that many, but that is all the ones that we need to do now, so now there's no backtracking, essentially. So, you know, just get that out of the way in one go. So, yeah, remember to follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Twitch. And, you know, if you want to support the channel, there's a link in the description, but a like, comment, subscribe is plenty of support. So, again, hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next episode, which is Ironkeep. Sorry for being out of breath. Bye, guys.